By adolescence, the forest was no longer only a refuge. It had become a classroom, archive, and proving ground. Elders moved through it. Campesinos, rangers, biologists cataloging life. Anthropologists tracing fragments of civilizations half swallowed by roots. Archaeologists mapping what empires once tried to fix in stone. New scopes of understanding were laid over my own, each with its own blindness. I watched them all, noticing what they saw, noticing what they missed. One of them noticed me. He was trained as an archaeologist, but he carried himself differently. He moved through the forest without urgency, without conquest. He listened more than he spoke. When he did speak, it was with the careful precision of someone who understood that words, like tools, could wound or reveal depending on how they were used. He watched me track water before I knew the word watershed. He watched me read breaks in canopy light like punctuation. He watched me pause where the forest tightened, where memory thickened, where the ground resisted excavation. You already know how to read this place, he said. Not as praise, but as diagnosis. Years later, after displacement had introduced forgetting, he placed a gift in my hands during a return. An olive-drab compass scarred by use, 3 worn books, Kipling's Jungle Book, Baden-Powell's Scouting for Boys, and a corneal field manual, its margins crowded with notes. These books built empires, he said, and they broke worlds. Then he paused. But they also contain observations taken from people who knew how to live here long before maps pretended to own it. He did not offer instruction. He offered permission. Let them argue with your forest. That moment was a sacrament of discernment. He taught me to read the colonial manual backwards, to find a moment where the European observer, baffled by a trail that disappeared, had to rely on a local guide whose name he did not record. The skill was there, but the credit and context were erased. My task became recontextualization, to separate the technical observation from the narrative of conquest, to recover the signal from the noise of supremacy. I learned that the most dangerous belief colonial systems carried was not their instruments, but the assumption that instruments could replace relationships. He expanded my scope to include the tools of the empire, then gave me the sacrament of critical thought with which to dismantle their dominion. The compass did not teach direction. It confirmed what my bones already knew. True bearing is grounded in the body long before it reaches the instrument. My equity was not in the device, but in the deep knowing it merely verified. The synthesis sharpened under pressure, melody service introduced a structured crucible. A severe new scope, guerrilla awareness met scout preparedness and melody discipline. Refugee adaptation met operational rigor. The melody provided a grammar for chaos, contingency planning, logistics trees. I translated my forest literacy into this grammar. Reading a hillside for erosion patterns became reading it for cover and concealment. Tracking animal movement modeled predictive pattern analysis for human movement. What crystallized was not a fixed identity, but a hybrid discipline. A protocol for maintaining orientation when all external systems incentivized forgetfulness. The sacrament was integration under duress. Throughout service and beyond, I encountered mentors who had mapped similar terrain. The visionary soldier, the disaster response general, the prophetic engineer. Each revealed another segment of the pattern. Each widened the scope. Disciplined imagination, logistics as healing, design as spiritual practice. This was no longer personal wayfinding. It was the architecture of a viable remembering. Their guidance was a sacrament of mentorship, a passing of the torch not of dogma, but of method. In subsequent years, I served as a ranger come master chief warden officer, applying tactical precision to ecological defense on the front lines. We did not protest. We intervened using the principles of reconnaissance. We mapped illegal logging routes through night movement and canopy observation. We established early warning networks with indigenous forest communities, turning their lived intelligence into a defensive grid. It was applied biocultural ethics. Every intercepted truck, every documented clearing was a ledger entry, a reclaiming of the equity stolen from the land and its librarians. Where guerrilla awareness met planetary peacekeeping, where protecting the living world demanded uncompromising ethics, where theory dissolved into consequence. This was the defense of inheritance against the machinery of abandonment. This was the sacrament of applied ethics, the scope of action made righteous. The final pattern revealed itself not as vision, but as supreme mathematics recognized in the wild A final, unifying sacrament.